Hi, for today's video I want to make an illustration of, let me just show you the cherries. I have a reference photo and it's from Unsplash. It's a nice platform that you can just use the photos for inspiration, and everyone just shares pictures there for free. So it's a nice place to grab inspiration. For today's video I use my Arches watercolor paper, and I like to use the cold press, and I will sketch on the side that has texture on it. Then I have my monograph pencil, so I will sketch my elements first. I have my mono drawing pens. I have 03, 05, and this should be 01. I have a jelly roll pen. I have 10. I have an eraser. Then I have my Mary Blue watercolors. I have my Princeton. Let me just do it like this, long round brush. I have number 8. I also have some of my favorite ones from the snap brushes. It's again a round brush. I have 2 jars of water here and some paper towel to clean my brush. Then I will just quickly sketch some branch, and I will not really try to make it super real, but I am just going for the fun part of this illustration process. So I have some kind of a branch, and then I have, let's say here, I have some leaf coming out to this side and also here, and then I have 2 cherries together, and they are kind of a circle, in a circle shape, so something like this, and then one more to this side. And sometimes they just have this not really perfect circle shape, but let's say something like this. And then I have one coming somewhere here, and then the stem of these cherries are never super straight, so I want to make it a bit curved. Something like this. And then I will make 2 more somewhere here, and then one will be going a little bit to the back, so I will make it slightly smaller, and then the other one from this side. Something like this, and maybe some more leaves. So maybe like here, and this one. So I really make this while I'm shaking my pen, so they just look a bit more natural. And what, let's just make one leaf here. Then the next step will be to outline, or yeah, to add ink to my illustration. So I will really do this when I am literally sketching some lines like this, and sometimes I make one of the lines a bit thicker, and I will do that for all the objects, and I will keep it on the same side. So always the left side I will make it slightly thicker. Okay, something like this. And then a bit thicker on this side, and I will add just some texture here and there, like just to make it a bit more interesting. I am starting always with the objects that are in the front, so I will not forget to make trimmed lines sometimes. Like for example, let me just make this leaf here so you will understand what I mean. And then this leaf. So basically here I have my cherries on the front, so my branch that is in the back will be trimmed like this, and then it will continue this way, and then I will quickly sketch these leaves. Okay, and I can also make one of the lines slightly thicker, and I am not bothering too much, like I really like this sketchy way. And then one detail line. Sometimes I would like to switch to the smaller size of the pen for the detail lines, but here I am just adding one line in the center, so I will be lazy and just stick to this one. This cherry is a bit interesting, but it's okay. When I don't like some of the lines, I will just make a thicker line there, and you see it looks like I just fixed it. I didn't really fix it, but I just added a little bit of thickness to my line, and then the shape looks slightly different. And then I have here a big one with these two cherries, and then again a bit thicker line. So right now I just want to share something with you while I am sketching this, because a lot of people asked me for these illustrations so they can cover or they can draw themselves. So some people asked for tracing page or coloring pages or templates that they can use. So I decided to start working on opening my Patreon page where people can get such things. Also exclusive content like video tutorials, maybe live stream workshops where we will just sketch and I will prep all the needed materials. So yeah, if you are one of these people, then you will be probably very happy and excited for this. I don't have a planned day for this yet, when it will open, but I'm working now on prepping my Patreon page and also what it will include, and for now I am planning on just adding 2 different tiers, so depends how creative you feel yourself, but I'm still working on this, so just stay tuned for the details that are coming very soon. And I am sharing more on my Instagram, so you can yeah, you are absolutely welcome to follow me there. Contact me if you need anything or help, or you have some questions. So yeah, that's quite exciting. I am actually extremely excited for this. So I hope that you will like this as well, because in the end I'm just doing this for everyone out there. Every creative person like you can join me and we can just get creative together, and that's nice if you find some inspiration and helpful tips here. So let me just draw this last leaf like this. So for example, you will be able to download such illustration and then start experimenting with some colors on top of it. It could be watercolor or some other medium that you like. I will clean the pencil lines now because I have paint on my fingers. That's okay, because once I add the watercolor on top of it, the pencil lines will be fixed. So the watercolor just works as a mask on top of it, and we are not gonna be able to erase them, so I am just doing this now. So I really like this part because it's just super nice to make a bit of a mess. So my extra relaxing watercolor technique is actually painting with water. So I am literally just adding some water on my paper. I am just splashing it sometimes like this with my brush, and the best amount of water that I am searching for is, so yeah, if you see, the paper has to be shiny, but you don't want to have puddles like water pools, and you can find if your water is enough. So when you turn your paper, let me just see if I can show you. If you turn your paper and you see like that the water is creating a pool, then you have to remove it. How I do that, I just dry my brush on the paper towel and then pick some of this water and take it away. You can also use directly the paper towel, so like this, and then you can mix your own colors, but I really like using my colors directly from the pan and just throwing them in, so you can see that I am just enjoying this whole process and then leaving the paint to do its job. So like this, and maybe also here sometimes I will go a bit closer to my lines. Just play with it and find like the balance in your illustration, like, you know, what it's what you like. And if you want, you can grab another blue, you can maybe make it more interesting and add some magenta or some purplish colors. It's just play with it. It's just a nice way of getting creative. So something like this. I will wash my brush and add water to the rest of my, I don't know, let's call it sky in the background. And you can see that when you have enough water and a very good amount of water, then it will just bleed. So like this. So that's what I'm searching for, just a relaxing way of creating a nice watercolor sketch. So such things we are going to do on my Patreon, but then I will share more videos and also the outlines, the templates and the illustrations. So if you feel like you just get frustrated from drawing, or like first finding your reference and stuff like this, then you are so welcome to join me there. I will also be sharing some reference photos that I use. I will share the outlines and the illustration itself, the lines of my illustration, so you will be able to create together with me, no matter on what level are your skills. So if you feel like you want to start from the beginning, you will be able to use my reference photo, and then with the step-by-step tutorial you can start from the real beginning, or you can just grab the illustration and directly start coloring it. I will try to create this creative space where you can take whatever you like and need from there. Oh yeah, and the nice thing is that I will organize this polls where people who join will be able to vote for the next month theme or the month after that. I will see how I will organize it, but I really want to create content that you like, so you will be able to choose it. Like, how nice is this? Or at least I feel that I am making something very nice and very calm and friendly space. So I'm just adding water now. Then I will grab some paint and try not to bother so much for the amount of water and paint I'm using. The only thing I am trying not to get is these water pools, or yeah, the puddles. Sorry, I was just enjoying the moment how the paint was bleeding in the water. It's just super nice and relaxing for myself. So sometimes if you don't hear me, then I probably paused for a second to just enjoy the paint and how the pigment just bleeds. So you can add always a little bit more, like this. And with this technique you have to work fast. I see here my paper started to dry already, so I have to add a little bit more water, which will be tricky because when your paper starts to dry and then you add another water, then it's possible that you will have this strange dry spots, but I'm not bothering because I really want to have fun with this. So even if I have some strange shapes and if I don't like it, we can always go over it and fix it, add more paint, add more water, whatever. We can always fix watercolor. So this is, let's say, that's my mindset that I just have for myself, that I can just fix everything. So I just go around and have fun with this. So here you can see that my water is already a bit blue, but that's okay. I just keep playing with it. So I hope you can see how the paint just bleeds and how nice it just looks. And while it's still wet, I can go back and add some darker blue. But keep in mind that if you want the paint to bleed, it should be still wet. You can't do this if your first layer is dry. This technique that I'm using here is called wet on wet. So you are literally wetting first your paper and then you add another wet layer, but because the first one is still wet, you can see how they just bleed. So that's quite nice, like this. Okay, let's just add a little bit more water here. You will see me drying my brush sometimes. And it's just because if, let's say you just put your brush vertically and you will see a lot of water on the tip, like almost dripping, and you don't want this. It will go directly on your paper and it will be just too much. You could see here I just touched with my water my paint, and it just did a magic. So if you don't want this to happen, you have to be careful not to touch your other layers or to wait for them to dry completely, so you will be able to continue. Okay, so before I make my cherries, so it's not really necessary. You can definitely go directly and try to see what will happen if you start painting your cherries, but I would like my background to dry, so for this I will use my heat tool just to speed the process, but you can definitely wait or throw more water and see what will happen, because you know, it's about having fun. For sure, if your background is wet and you start adding other paint to the cherries, both will bleed. Okay, if you use a heating tool, I would recommend to wait for the paper to cool down a bit, otherwise your water will dry too fast and you will be not able to enjoy and get nice bleeding shapes. So now that this is dry, let's just make some nice cherries and leaves. So for my background I used Prussian blue, sorry for the pronunciation if I'm not saying it right. And I also had a little bit of cobalt blue. So painting with water might look different, but believe me, that's just the easiest way of doing watercolor sketches and drawings, and it's also extremely relaxing because you just enjoy how this pigment creates a magic. It's literally a magic. So like this, and I just tap with my brush on the edges and leave it to bleed. If it's needed, I will go a little bit in the center, something like this, and I will also grab a little bit. So this is my golden green, and I also have hooker's green, so I can go one more time. And I am just tapping with my tip of my brush, like this. And then just leave it, like, just like this, you see? If you want to blend this, you can dry your brush and then move it around a little bit. It's absolutely up to you. You can also just leave it as it is, just let it be. And the thing that you can also learn is just let it go. Just let perfection go. Don't try to make realistic painting, because we are just having fun And even if it doesn't look the way we were imagining it in the beginning, it's fine. It's the important thing is that we are having fun and we are enjoying ourselves, we are getting creative, and that's already quite enough. You can also use only one color, you can use more colors, you can mix your own colors. I just like to use my pre-mixed colors that I already have from my Merry Blue, and I use them as they are. But remember that if you mix your own colors, they might be even more, how do you say, rich and nicer. Let me know if you need help on how to mix your own colors. I already have this series called Watercolor Basics, and one of the videos was about mixing colors and the color wheel, so you can definitely learn a lot there. But if you have more questions, just comment below this video, or wait, I just want to add first water. Comment below this video, or send me an email, send me a message on Instagram. I'm always happy to hear what are your struggles and how I can help to make it more fun and relaxing, because that's the point of having a creative hobby, right? Like this. So I will finish my leaves and then we will make the cherries. Okay, now that I finished my leaves, I want to point out that you can see this one is still wet. I just made it and it's darker than what just have here when it's completely dry. So if you want your illustration to be darker, you can just go again with your paint, make another layer or add detail lines, absolutely up to you. For now, I just like it like this. I am not going to make more details or layers. I'm just lazy and I just like to make it simple and use just one layer. So I put water, I grab some red for my cherries, I will use my rose alizarin, and I will tap on the edges, and you can see how my paint just bleeds. I'm just in love with this technique because first of all it's extremely relaxing, second of all you have a very nice result. So yeah, then I will put more pigment and just go again with the darker one. I will put a bit darker here and here on the edge, so like this, and then I will leave it. So I will leave this white spot and see what will happen, and if the paint will bleed more. So I have another one. I grab some pigment and go again on the borders, and you can see immediately what this paint makes. Then a little bit here, so like this, and that's it. These are my cherries, literally. I add water. If you want, you can always add a little bit of paint to your first layer, but keep in mind that you need to make it very light. So like right now it's just lightly pinkish, and then I go around with my red, and then a bit darker somewhere here, and that's it. So now, because I made my leaves quite soon, I have to make sure that they are dry, otherwise my red and green will bleed, which is not really wrong. Sometimes we want to have this effect. I can also just make both cherry at the same time, or I can make them separately. You know, it's just your choice if you want to make it more playful, or you really want to keep more real look. And then I go with my paint here and also here. Like this, and then on the other side of this cherry. And if you want more dark, you can go in one more time with more pigmented paint and just add more. So I think just like this. The last thing is to paint my branch. I will use burnt umber. So I will start with very transparent layer. Like this, and then I will grab darker or more pigment on my brush and put it on the bottom part. And then here as well. I have too much water on my brush, so I just dry it out on my paper towel. So I really like the long round brush, because when you keep it more vertically, you can really make and create this tiny lines and paint these small places like here, and also the stem of the leaves, or when you push the brush more horizontally, then you will have thicker lines, so it's very nice. Okay, and then the last segment of my branch is here. Okay, and I have green stems for the cherries. Let me just grab some golden green. And even if I go in the sky, you know, I'm not bothering too much. So this here, my green and brown will probably bleed, but that's okay. I really like how they work together. Okay. And lastly, these small parts here. I will add roughly some paint like this. We'll make sure that there's not too much water. So I will just blend it here and make it look like it's just one thing. Something like this. I will wait for this to dry and I will add a little bit of white lines to bring the light up. Okay, now that this is dry, I will grab my Gelly Roll pen and I will add some white detail lines. What this means, I just add next to my black outlines a little bit of white, and sometimes I just add some other lines. And how much is not too much? Well, you can just make it as you like. I will keep saying this because yeah, that's the truth. Like, if you feel like adding a bit more white, just go for it. But if you feel like, okay, I want just a little bit, like this one, I will just make like this a few lines. I don't know if it's really visible, but I don't finish, I don't make all the lines. I am just adding detail lines, so a little bit on the inside like this. and I don't finish all of them. So I will put a bit where my darkest parts are, like this, and sometimes I will literally trim my line, and sometimes I can add some extra details like these textures for the branch or textures for the leaves, like the veins, for example. And the white you can add where your darkest part is. I'm saying this probably for a second time, but you just, I'm trying to get some contrast. So if I add white lines where my white and light parts are, then it will not be visible. So I'm just adding a little bit on the darker parts, just like this. Okay, just a little bit on this leaf here, and on this side. So yeah, just like this. So yeah, I will call it done. I hope you liked it, and I hope you enjoyed this video a lot. If you don't want to miss any of my videos, just subscribe for my channel. This will mean the world for me. And if you're interested in my coming Patreon page, just stay tuned, because it may happen tomorrow or the day after. Okay, so enjoy your day and have a nice weekend. See you next time. Bye.